So you want to own a storage unit facility. It might be the most boring-looking business on this channel. Rows of metal doors. No employees running around, no customers lingering around all day. But boring might be exactly why it's one of the most profitable real estate businesses in America. No sales pitch needed. No customer service headaches. Just steady, predictable income. Let's break down the real numbers behind self-storage. From what it costs to build to what it actually pays out once it's running. The U.S. self-storage industry generates over $40 billion annually, with more than 50,000 facilities spread across the country. Nearly 1 in 10 American households rents a storage unit at some point in their life. That's a massive, recurring customer base. Demand comes from predictable life events. Moving, downsizing, divorce, college students needing summer storage, small businesses needing extra inventory space. Unlike most retail businesses, storage doesn't depend on foot traffic or trends. It depends on population density and life disruption, and both of those are constant year after year. In dense, growing cities, demand for storage only increases as living spaces shrink and populations grow. There are 2 main models to choose from: traditional drive-up facilities and climate-controlled indoor units, which command higher rent but cost significantly more to build. Climate-controlled units are especially popular for people storing furniture, electronics, or documents that can't handle temperature swings. Let's talk numbers. Building a self-storage facility from the ground up typically costs $3 million to $6 million depending on unit count, location, and construction type. Land acquisition alone can range from $500,000 to $2 million in a decent metro area. Location matters enormously here. Construction costs run roughly $25 to $45 per square foot for basic drive-up units. For climate-controlled buildings, the cost can climb past $70 per square foot once you add insulation, HVAC systems, and indoor hallway construction. A mid-sized facility with around 500 units might total $4 million all in once land, construction, and permitting are factored together. This is a capital-intensive business, which is why many owners either use commercial real estate loans or bring in outside investors to fund the build. A finished 500-unit facility represents a serious asset, but also a serious financial commitment before a single unit is even rented. Commercial lenders are generally comfortable financing storage facilities since the asset class has a strong historical track record of stable returns. Bringing in investors is another common route, especially for first-time owners who want to spread the risk of a multi-million-dollar build. Alternatively, converting an existing warehouse or industrial building into storage units is a popular lower-cost entry strategy. Converting an existing building can cut your startup cost by 30 to 50% compared to building brand new from the ground up. Once converted, the facility functions identically to new construction. Tenants don't care whether the building is new or repurposed, only whether it's clean, secure, and convenient. Here's the part that surprises people. Storage facilities are shockingly cheap to run once they're built and open. There's no inventory to manage, no perishable goods, and none of the complex supply chains other small businesses have to deal with. Many facilities operate with just 1 to 2 employees, or in some cases none at all. If fully automated with keypad access and remote management software, security is largely automated too. Coded gate entry and camera systems mean tenants can access their units without staff present around the clock. Property taxes and insurance are typically the largest recurring costs, often totaling $40,000 to $100,000 a year depending on facility size and location. Maintenance is low-key, mostly gate systems, lighting, security cameras, and occasional repairs to individual unit doors. Cameras and lighting run continuously, but the electricity draw is minimal compared to a retail store or restaurant. Even overnight, a storage facility barely needs staffing or oversight. The automated systems handle almost everything. Utilities stay modest too, especially for non-climate-controlled units, since you're mainly paying for lighting and security, not heating an entire occupied building. Climate-controlled sections do add to the utility bill, but the higher rent they command usually more than covers the extra cost. This is where storage gets interesting. A 500-unit facility, renting units at an average of $100 to $150 a month can generate serious revenue. At 85 to 90% occupancy, a realistic target for an established facility. That adds up fast. Total gross revenue lands somewhere between $550,000 and $800,000 a year for a well-run mid-sized facility. Because operating costs are so low, profit margins in self-storage often reach 40 to 60%, among the highest of any real estate asset class. Compare that to other real estate, businesses like apartment complexes or retail centers, where margins are frequently half that, due to higher staffing and maintenance costs. Climate-controlled units in high-demand urban areas can rent for $200 to $300 a month, pushing total revenue even higher. In cities with limited living space and high population density, storage demand and pricing power only continues to grow. Occupancy tends to stay remarkably stable too. Once someone rents a unit, the average tenant keeps it for 12 months or more. Often tenants keep their unit far longer than planned, since moving stored belongings back out is a hassle people keep postponing. This sticky tenant behavior is a big part of what makes storage such a reliable, low-churn cash flow business once it's built and filled. Revenue tends to stay flat and predictable month to month, without the seasonal swings that hit many other small businesses. Once a facility reaches stable occupancy, it essentially becomes a steady, largely hands-off income stream. Of course, there are real risks. The biggest one is the initial lease-up period right after opening. A brand new facility can take 2 to 4 years to reach stable occupancy, and meaning slow, gradual growth, not instant success. During that time, you're covering a multi-million-dollar loan with only partial revenue, which puts real financial pressure on new owners. Location is everything. A facility built in an area with low population density or too much nearby competition can struggle permanently, regardless of how well it's built. Markets can also become oversaturated. When too many investors chase the same easy passive income story at the same time, flooding an area with supply. Zoning and permitting can be a slow, expensive process before you even break ground, especially in dense urban areas with strict regulations. Permit delays can push back your opening by months, all while land and construction loans continue accruing interest. When too much supply hits one market, rental rates get pushed down as facilities compete for the same limited pool of tenants. This is why market research before buying land is critical. The wrong location can undermine even a perfectly built facility. Weighing these risks against the strong margins is part of any serious decision to enter this business. So, should you own a storage unit facility? If you have significant capital or access to commercial financing, this can become one of the most hands-off, high-margin real estate businesses available. Financing is widely available for this asset class, which lowers the barrier compared to some other capital-intensive businesses. Patience is essential. The real payoff comes after that multi-year lease-up period, once occupancy stabilizes. If your budget is smaller, converting an existing building is a far cheaper entry point than building new from the ground up. Buying an underperforming facility and improving its occupancy through better marketing and management is another realistic path in for newer investors. That's the economics of owning a storage facility. Let me know in the comments what business you want us to break down next.